Right now, America and Iran are in a very tense situation, and what happens next between these countries can change everything. Trump has put up the biggest US military buildup in the Middle East since the war between America and Iraq. Trump can start a war between America and Iran at any moment. But why does Trump want a war with Iran? What will happen in this war, and will Trump invade Iran? Let's find out. Right now, the situation between Iran and United States is very tense. Iran and United States can go to war at any time. If America and Iran go to war with each other, then the person most responsible for the war will be Donald Trump. First, let's see the current situation between America and Iran and find out why Donald Trump wants to launch military strikes against Iran. Right now, United States, under the leadership of Donald Trump, has decided to put many of its military assets near Iran. This is the largest buildup of American military assets in the Middle East since the war between America and Iraq in the year 2003. America has put many of its aircraft carriers, destroyers, combat ships, and attack planes near Iran. The goal of this military buildup by America is either to use these military assets to go to war with Iran or to use the pressure that these military assets create on Iran to reach a good nuclear deal between Iran and United States, which favors America. A few days ago, Trump said that Iran has just 10 to 15 days at most to agree a deal over its nuclear program. Trump said that if Iran and America do not agree to a deal, then America will launch military strikes on Iran. Now, while Trump is trying to exert a huge amount of pressure on Iran, Iran's leadership is standing strong. In a letter to the United Nations Security Council, Iran said that while Iran does not seek tension or war, if United States launches military strikes on Iran, then Iran will respond to it decisively and proportionally. Iran said that the United States would bear full and direct responsibility for any unpredictable and uncontrolled consequences. Iran and America are currently engaged in diplomatic talks to solve the issues of their disagreements related to the Iranian nuclear program, Iranian ballistic missiles, and sanctions on Iran imposed by America. America does not want Iran to have nuclear weapons. At this moment of time, Trump is saying that he prefers a diplomatic deal over a military confrontation with Iran, but he is ready for a military confrontation if a diplomatic deal between Iran and America is not reached. A few months ago, Trump was saying that not only will Iran not be allowed to get any nuclear weapons or nuclear enrichment, Iran would also have to reduce its ballistic missile capabilities. Some people on Trump's team also demanded that Iran should stop supporting its allies in the Middle East with weapons and money. The talks between Iran and America are mediated by Oman, but when Omani mediators delivered an envelope from the United States which contained demands made by United States related to Iranian ballistic missile capabilities, Iranian Foreign Minister refused to open the envelope, and he returned it without even opening it. Iran has repeatedly said that America will not be allowed to dictate what happens to Iranian ballistic missiles. America will also not be allowed to dictate whether Iran supports its allies in the Middle East or not. Iran wants only its nuclear program to be discussed in these talks. After the latest talks in Geneva, which were held on Tuesday, Iranian Foreign Minister said that both sides had agreed on guiding principles, but the White House under Trump said that there was still distance between Iran and America. The next round of talks between United States and Iran are scheduled to take place in Geneva on Thursday. Iran again said that it wants a diplomatic solution to its nuclear program, but if United States strikes Iran militarily, then Iran will defend itself. On Friday, Trump said that he was considering a limited strike on Iran if a deal is not reached soon. Now, the reason why Trump would be the person most responsible for an Iran and American war is that Iran and America already had a nuclear deal, but this deal was made by Barack Obama, and Trump does not like Barack Obama. In the nuclear agreement between Iran and America that was signed under Obama, Iran was not allowed to enrich its uranium to levels which were required to build a nuclear bomb. There was rigorous checking done by various international agencies like International Atomic Energy Agency, which were constantly checking whether Iran was fulfilling its promises of not enriching its uranium to very high levels or not. In this deal, there was no mention of Iranian ballistic missiles or whether Iran was allowed to help its allies or not. In return for not getting nuclear weapons, USA stopped many of its sanctions which were placed on Iran. Because of American sanctions, Iran was not able to trade with many parts of the world. American sanctions are extremely bad for Iran's economy, so the stopping of many American sanctions was a major win for Iran. But in 2018, Trump pulled out from this nuclear deal. Why? Because this deal was made by Barack Obama and Trump hated Obama. Trump also supports Israel a lot and Israel was very unhappy with that nuclear deal. Pulling out from that nuclear deal was a major mistake by Trump. In 2025, United States attacked 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. Trump said that Iran was very close to making a nuclear bomb, so to stop them, Trump had to strike Iran. But now, less than a year after this, a very senior member of Trump's administration has said that Iran is near making nuclear bomb material. Now, whether Witkoff is lying or telling the truth is not a very easy question to answer, but under the nuclear deal which was signed by Obama, the world was very sure that Iran was not trying to get a nuclear bomb. Now we don't know. Right now, Trump is deeply unpopular in the United States. Around 60% of Americans disapprove of Trump. One reason why Trump can launch military strikes and start a war with Iran is to distract people from his failures in the United States. Under Trump, United States has imposed various sanctions on Iran. America has used many of its economic weapons to target Iran. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that America engineered a dollar shortage to destroy the Iranian currency, and that has resulted in protesters taking to the streets in Iran. A few weeks ago, Iran faced a lot of protests. The biggest reason for the protests were economic problems faced by Iranian citizens. And why did they face economic problems? Because America has tried its very best to create economic problems for Iran and its citizens. Now, due to the various economic weapons used by America against Iran, Iran is now in a very tough spot. The Iranian government is not very popular in Iran. There are a lot of US military assets near Iran which can strike Iran at any moment. So Trump has put Iran in a corner. Now, if the Iranian government thinks that the only way out of the corner is by responding as harshly to the United States as possible, then if United States strikes Iran, then Iran can use a lot of its military capabilities to respond back and cause American casualties. After the June strike happened in 2025, Iran did not respond very harshly to America. Iran launched a few missiles on an American base in Qatar. Iran notified United States before launching the missiles, and this was mostly symbolic. But now the pressure on Iran is even more. So if the Iranian government thinks that Iran is in a do or die situation, then maybe Iran can inflict a lot of damage on American assets in the Middle East. But what happens in a war between Iran and United States is very difficult to predict. But the people that will suffer the most after Trump strikes Iran will be the Iranian citizens, who will be in a very bad place. Because a war between Iran and America can destroy a lot of Iran's military infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. Civilians of Iran can suffer, and the economy of Iran can also suffer a lot. After President George Bush of America launched war against Saddam Hussein, who was the leader of Iraq, a lot of Iraq's economy was destroyed. Iraq's civilians suffered a lot. There was various conflicts in Iraq, and after the war between Iraq and America, a lot of Iraq was destroyed. This can happen to Iran too. In the other neighbor of Iran, Afghanistan, in the 1970s, there was an ongoing civil war in Afghanistan between the socialist government of Afghanistan versus various different rebels. United States supported the enemies of the socialist government of Afghanistan, and this has created a lot of problems in Afghanistan which are still ongoing. On the other hand, according to some military experts, Iran can close this Strait of Hormuz. A lot of the world's oil goes through this area, and if Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, then oil prices can skyrocket, which can cause inflation and slow down in growth of the whole world. Iran and its allies in the Middle East can also target the oil infrastructure of various Gulf countries, which will also result in the same problems for the entire world. Iran can strike against Israel too. Iran can also strike various US military bases situated near it and cause American casualties. Trump's top general sees a lot of risk if America attacks Iran. According to General Dan Kane, who is the Joint Chiefs of Staff chairman, US can face a lot of difficulties in a war with Iran because a lot of US munitions stockpile has already been significantly depleted when there was an ongoing war between Iran and Israel. A lot of US munitions stockpiles have also been used conflict in Ukraine. In a Pentagon meeting, Kane said that military actions against Iran are very complex and there are possibilities of US casualties. Kane said that American military operation on Iran will be much more difficult because a lot of American allies are not supporting United States. If American defense systems and US munitions stockpile deplete in a military conflict between Iran and America, then if a future invasion of Taiwan is done by China, then doing the defense of Taiwan would be very difficult with depleted stockpiles of US military assets. The US has already depleted many of its munitions in Russia, and if a war between Iran and America starts, then it can provide an opportunity to China with American munitions depleted and America focusing elsewhere. Then China can take actions on Taiwan. A lot of standard missiles used in the US Navy are also limited in supply. So this is another problem. Because of the low munition stockpiles, last year the Defense Department requested around $30 billion from Congress to purchase high-end missiles and interceptors. But this request was only partially fulfilled in the last month. According to Katherine Thompson, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, US is not currently prepared to resource simultaneous conflicts and that a war with Iran would likely come with significant trade-offs for higher priority interests like China, Taiwan, and Ukraine, Russia. But Trump has responded to this report where the General Dan Kane has issued caution against an attack on Iran. Trump said that the fake news media is lying. General Daniel Kane is not against United States going to war with Iran. Trump is saying that in General Kane's opinion, a war with Iran will be easily won by the United States. Trump said that everything that has been written about a potential war with Iran has been incorrect. Trump also said that he would prefer a deal, but if there is no deal, then it will be a very bad day for Iran and its people. But what happens in a war between Iran and America is very difficult to predict, and we can only know for sure what happens when it happens, not now before there is any military action taken. The least risky way and the best thing for Iranian civilians and people all around the world would be a nuclear deal between Iran and America like the one signed under Obama, where international agencies check that Iran is not trying to get a nuclear bomb, where sanctions on Iran are dropped, Iranian economy gets back on track. This will be very good for Iranian civilians, and we will not get any instability in the Middle East due to the start of a new war. If you found this video interesting, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.